Welcome to Just Stories. We hope you enjoy our short story. The 100 Years' War was a series of conflicts fought between England and France from 1337 to 1453. The war was primarily fought over the claim of the French throne by the English king, Edward III, and his descendants, as well as over control of territory in France. The war began in 1337, when Edward III claimed the French throne, citing a legal technicality in which he was the closest living male relative of the last king of France, Philip IV. The French king at the time, Philip VI, refused to recognize Edward's claim, leading to the first phase of the war. The first phase of the war, known as the Edwardian War, lasted from 1337 to 1360. During this time, the English were able to make significant gains in France, capturing the important cities of Calais and Rouen. However, the French were able to push back the English and regain control of much of the territory that had been lost. The second phase of the war, known as the Caroline War, lasted from 1369 to 1389. During this time, the French were able to make significant gains against the English, thanks in part to the leadership of their king, Charles V. The French were able to retake much of the territory that had been lost during the first phase of the war, including Calais and Rouen. The third phase of the war, known as the Lancastrian War, lasted from 1415 to 1429. This phase of the war was marked by the English victory at the Battle of Agincourt, in which the English army, led by King Henry V, defeated the larger French army. This victory allowed the English to make significant gains in France, including the capture of the city of Rouen. The fourth and final phase of the war, known as the Fastolfin War, lasted from 1449 to 1453. During this time, the French were able to make significant gains against the English, thanks in part to the leadership of their king, Charles VII. The French were able to retake much of the territory that had been lost during the previous phase of the war, including Rouen. The war finally ended in 1453, with the French victory at the Battle of Castillon, which marked the end of English territory in France. The war had a significant impact on the history of both England and France, leading to changes in the balance of power between the two nations, as well as in the way wars were fought and financed. The war also had a significant impact on the people of England and France. It was a long and bloody conflict, and both sides suffered significant losses in terms of lives and resources. The war also led to the growth of nationalism sentiment in both countries, as the people came to see the conflict as a struggle for their nation's identity and survival. In terms of military tactics, the war saw the increasing use of cannon and longbow by the English and the development of the French use of pike and crossbow. The war also marked the end of the feudal system and the rise of the professional army. The war also had a significant economic impact, as both England and France had to finance the war effort through heavy taxation and by borrowing large sums of money. This led to economic hardship for many people, as well as inflation and a general rise in prices. In conclusion, the 100 Years' War was a long and complex conflict that had a significant impact on the history of both England and France. It was a war that was fought over the claim of the French throne by the English king, Edward III, and his descendants, as well as over control of territory in France. The war saw significant changes in military tactics. Thank you for watching our short story. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, so you don't miss out on our next video drop.